Next up, the New York Knicks, 39.5. This is the one where we're going to get yelled at, Robbie.
You want to go first? I'll go. This under.
So they won 37 last year.
They won 37 last year. I'll preface this by saying I have been impressed by the strides RJ Barrett has made. I think the extension was a solid number. I think I like it. Obi Toppin looks like an NBA player, which is a big step from his rookie year, where there were some scuffles, but I like the way he played last year. Yeah. I still like Mitchell Robinson as a rotation big man. I don't know about starter, but like he's a very solid center. And like Jalen Brunson's a good basketball player. However, they're just outgunned, man, in the East and really against most of the West. Like they're just not good enough. It's a talent deficit. Like there's not much you can do. And we're deep into the Thibs era, which usually historically does not go well. Like we're deep. What year is this? Is this 4? 3, 4?
This is year 4. Correct.
This tends to have a taper off effect. The message starts to get like the guys start tuning out they worked really hard to get Donovan Mitchell and then didn't. And which again, I don't even know how that would have worked. Like, I don't think they were necessarily wrong not to give up a ton for Donovan Mitchell. Like, I don't especially since he signed Jalen Brunson, I don't know how that backcourt would have done much. I just you better hope Julius Randle has a big bounce back is all I'll say. Like, you better hope that is somewhere in him to get back to that level. And I'm just skeptical of that. And even if RJ Barrett is very good, which I think he very well might be, I don't think they have enough firepower to compete in the East night in, night out.
Okay, here's the case. Here's the case for the over for the Knicks. Okay. This team won 37 games last year.
They did?
They weren't a disaster. Like, it was disappointing because they had a home playoff series the year before, but they weren't a disaster. They were 22nd in offensive efficiency, 11th in defensive efficiency. They go out and get Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's going to make their offense just run better, and they're going to be more dangerous offensively. It should be better. They have a lot of young guys that should show continued marginal growth. RJ Barrett should get better. Obi Toppin should be better. Emmanuel Quickley should be better. Quentin Grimes should be better. Mitchell Robinson just turned 24. He should be better. Like, a number of guys here. They also go out. They improve their roster. They get Jalen Brunson. They get Isaiah Hartenstein, both of whom should be pretty useful for them.
Professional center.
I think this number is basically dead on. I lean very slightly over because in my brain, what my brain tells me is they basically retained everything off of their team last year. I know that they actually stayed really healthy last year for the most part. Like, that's a thing to consider here. Like, Julius Randle played 72, RJ Barrett played 70, Fournier and Burks played over 80, Mitchell Robinson played 72, Emmanuel Quickley played 78. Like, they had a lot of guys that stayed healthy, but you're going to get more than 46 games out of Quentin Grimes because Quentin Grimes is good. You're going to get more than, Obi Toppin also played 72 games, right? So they had guys that played a lot of games. But you're going to get all of these guys that are hopefully healthy this year. Like, we haven't seen injury problems with any of these guys really in the past. And hopefully they stay healthy and continue to stay healthy. And you're going to add Jalen Brunson, who should make the offense run a bit better while not tanking the defense. So is that worth 3 games, basically, is what it comes down to, along with the internal improvement of the young guys? I kind of think yes, acknowledging that not all of this happens in a vacuum because, the Eastern Conference is going to be better this year, and it's going to be harder for them to find wins. I I think the number is dead on, is what I would say. And I lean very slightly over, but I think the number is right.
I'm not locking this up, but I just think like it's hard for me to see how this team is like anything better than 500, and that's a game and a half over this total. Like that feels like a really, really high level outcome for this team is 500. Just because, like you said, like the East it's just going to be a brutal day in, day out. Like I think they are closer to where Portland is, to go back to what we talked about in the West, than they are to where, I don't know, like in Atlanta is. Where like I think they're a solidly like mid 50s or mid 40s team on like a number of outcomes.
For what it's worth, in that exact vein, exactly similarly to Portland, the Knicks are the 10th team in the East and hit at 39. As we said in the West last time, it has not been exactly like a high level track record of teams finishing 10th in the league.
Usually now obviously Charlotte was 43 wins in the 10th seed last year. So like last year was kind of the outlier in that. But
the year before was Charlotte at 33. The year before that was Washington at 25, but that was like the shortened year. So like, but still 25 is like a crazy number in terms of low. Miami was 39 in 2019. In 2018, Charlotte was 36. In 2017, Detroit was 37. In 2016, the Wizards were 41. I don't know. Like the track record is like a little bit better than what you would think. It's not like great, but it's not. It's still unlikely that the team that finishes 10th gets to 40 wins, which is what you have to get to.
And so that's my issue. Is like I'm trying to figure out like who I would pick them to potentially be better than. And I just think and I think it spells out in the kind of the way that the win totals are this year is like there's a pretty big gap between like it's the Bulls at 44.5 is the next lowest team. Like there's a pretty sizable gap. And like if you're talking about team talent, like the Bulls are pretty much better than them in a lot of ways. So it's just like
for sure.
I just think there's a talent deficit, and it's not to say that they don't have some guys. It's just I worry about the Thibs factor. Year 4 tends not to be a guy that gets the most out of his teams longer into his tenure. Tends to get the most out of them early in his tenure. They did that. They had success early in with Thibs. Doesn't usually go as well the longer he's in a place. I think this is close to where they were last year. 38 wins and just a little bit under. But like you said, like, look, they were close on this and they did get better. I just don't know if they got better enough for everything around them.